You tell me what you want to learn. I don't know. I've never been on the internet before. Ahoy there, folks. This is Nate, representing the 80/20 drummer via 80/20 Studios West, aka my mom's house. So believe it or not, I've been home here in Montana and I've been practicing, and I thought it was a great opportunity to circle around to something that I've been meaning to touch on for a while, and that is Mr. Thomas Pridgen. So in probably one of the earliest Gospel Chops videos on the Gospel Chops channel, Thomas does a video very much like this one where he's shooting from his house and the cameraman's just there. He's like, you tell me what you want to learn. I don't know. I've never been on the internet before. But he introduces a lick that he says is the sort of cliche gospel lick that he did with Keisha Cole in the 90s that everybody should get away from. And the lick sounded like this. So naturally, when he was like, yeah, this is the cliche gospel like everyone's been doing for so long, I was like, oh, I need to learn this. So practiced it a little bit back then, wasn't nuts about it. So segue, about 2 weeks ago, I did a lesson on Nick Smith. And at the time, we were talking about this idiom as well, that starts on the snare drum with the right hand and goes around to the rack tom with the left hand, this sort of John Bonham, Steve Gadd sweepish thing. And I was expressing my disdain for it then because I couldn't really make it work. So anyway, I thought, hey, I've got some spare time here in Montana. Let's really dive deep into this thing. Start with what Thomas is doing and try to figure out a way to make some cool licks with it. And in the process, just get inside some of the more just idiomatic, deep down, old school gospel chops. So I've got two licks for you today, two Thomas Pridgen-esque gospel chops licks that start on the snare drum, go around to the high tom with the left hand, and one is in triplets and one's in sixteenths. So let me show you the triplet one first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to deploy that in context in a couple minutes, but first I kind of want to show you how the genesis came up. So a lot of these licks I invent because I'll be playing along in a groove and I'll come up with something that's idiomatic between the kick, the snare, and the hats, and this was no exception. So imagine you're playing along in kind of a hip-hop sort of swung backbeat Bernard Purdie thing, and it's pretty natural. So it's just a matter of taking that and fucking with it and orchestrating it. So let me show you the most elemental bit of that, which is just this. 2, 3, 4. So you take that and you hemiolize it, which means you make a 16-beat phrase out of it by making two 6-beat phrases and a 4-beat phrase. So instead of it'll sound like so the next stage is just to orchestrate that. We're going to start with the right hand on the high tom, and then we're going to bounce off the snare drum with the right hand and come around. So I'll show you. 2, 3, 4. So let me show you what that'll sound like in context. Okay, so let me give you just one orchestration variation that I like to do, which is this. So in context, that'll sound like this. And you can switch back and forth between them, so like this. Okay, so quickly I just want to show you the 16th note version of that. I've talked in previous lessons about 16thizing things. That just means that you maintain the sort of melody and accent profile of the tripletized version, but you just put 16th notes under it. So that'll sound like this. And just like the other one, you can start this off on the snare and the hats and then orchestrate it. So the snare and hats version will sound like this. So orchestrate that around. The last bit on the floor tom, whether you want to do an inverted paradiddle, a paradiddle, or just singles there, is immaterial. Kind of use your instincts with it. I'm transcribing it just as singles because that's kind of the most versatile. And it segues into this orchestration variation, which is this. 2, 3, 4. So this is the kind of thing that when you get it going fast can sound pretty impressive. Etc. So let me just play an example for you where I switch between the triplets and the 16th, because I should probably be able to do that. And then we'll close this thing out. All right, hopefully that'll be clear for you. They'll be transcribed for you at the link below. Folks, it's time for my favorite part of the lesson, the learn more about me portion of the lesson. If you like what you saw here today, and you want to see more footage of me in my bedroom, no. If you want to see more helpful drum tips, I recommend something called the 80-20 roadmap. I have a handy graphic underneath me here. Most drummers make some version of the same 3 mistakes. The 80-20 roadmap will help you size those up and shortcut you to becoming great at the drums. It's $5, it's dope as hell, and I have it on good authority that it'll help you. Dudes, it's been real. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to my mom for standing here. No earplugs, just dealing with me take after take after take. We'll be back in 80-20 Studios East next week. See you soon. Peace.